Yo, what's up? This is Patrick.
This is Marco.
And in this video, we're going to show you a practical use of the VertiPaq Analyzer with Power BI.
Stay tuned.
So Marco, I did a video not too long ago on VertiPaq Analyzer. It's a really popular video, but I got questions. Okay, Patrick, this is cool. It's nice and integrated, but what do all these numbers mean? How do I use all these numbers to really help optimize my model?
The first thing we can do,
okay.
The first thing we can do is just to reduce the size of Power BI file,
okay,
which also optimize the performance, and you probably refresh quicker, faster, and you also can improve the performance of your measures.
Okay, you can show us.
You are interested, right?
Yeah. Okay. So wait, with enough of all this talking, let's head over to Marco's laptop.
Okay. So here is the file I'm gonna use. This Contoso large file is 250 megabytes. I already opened this file, and this is the report I have. What is interesting here is that if I take a look at the number of rows in the saves table, you see that we have 12 million rows here.
Wow, that's a pretty substantial amount of data.
Yeah, and you say maybe 250 megabytes for 12 million rows is not bad.
It's not bad.
However, let's take a look at where we're spending our memory.
Okay.
I would say our money, because actually I bought my laptop and memory has a price.
That's right. That's right.
Where is my money going?
And you don't want to abuse your memory. You don't want to waste it, right? You want to be really efficient with the use of your memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Memory is important. So the first thing I can do, I can open DAX Studio, and download, install. You already shown this, right?
Yes, I already showed this.
And so I connect to my model here. It's very easy. You have to open Power BI and then you connect. And second thing, you have to go in the advanced tab that you have to enable using the options pane. And you click on view metrics. When you click on view metrics, you see these wonderful numbers here. And you see that now I just enlarge a little bit the columns, because you see we have a lot of memory used here. So you see that there are several columns. So the first thing is, okay, what are these columns? These columns basically tell you what is the size of the table, for example.
Gotcha.
And what is the size of the columns of the table, because part of the size of the table depends on some structure like the relationships that is not actually in the columns. But you see that most of the data is made by columns.
So one of the things that they asked was, is this bytes, megabytes, kilobytes?
Bytes. The number is in bytes.
Okay.
So, but you have the 1,000 separators. So you can actually see we have around 340 megabytes.
Got it.
Which is bigger than the size we have seen before. Why? Because the PBX file is a further compression of the data compressed in memory. Now, if I drill down, I can explain you better what we have here. As you see, I sorted the content by the size of the columns table, and the columns table is the amount of bytes that every column is consuming within a table, because the data is stored by column, and so every column has a price, has a cost.
Right.
Now, the columns column is in reality the sum of other two metrics, which are the data and the dictionary size. And the hierarchy size.
Okay, so the data and the hierarchy size makes up that column number.
Data, dictionary, hierarchy size. You sum them together, you have this number.
Okay.
That's more or less the idea. Now, the dictionary size depends on how many unique values you have, because there is a list of the unique values in the column, unless you have a value encoding here where you have a small dictionary, because basically the columns doesn't have a dictionary, just store the data in a column.
Got it.
And if there are multiple rows close to each other with the same value, the data can be compressed. But of course, if you have many unique values, the compression is very low.
Got it.
Now, the hierarchy size is another structure that is used for MDX queries. You may say, actually, Power BI doesn't need that. Well, but if you use Analyze in Excel, you could use it. And it is also used as an index for system operation. But I don't want to go too deep now.
Sure.
The thing is, the more unique values you have in a column, the bigger are these structures: data, hierarchies, and dictionary. So the sum of these three elements is what I want to be I want to save this number. If I realize, for example, the online sales key has 12 million of unique values. The cardinality column is the cardinality of each column. How many unique values you have. And this number is identical to the number of rows of the table.
Is that an indication of a problem?
Yeah, because every row has a different number here.
Jeez.
But the real problem is, do I care about this column? Do I use this column in my data, in my analysis, in my report?
Probably not. Right.
So I can just remove it. So if I go here and I say, oh, online sales key, delete.
From the model.
Yeah.
Because you don't need it.
I don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it, right?
And the best optimization, remove what you don't need.
Remove what you don't. You heard what Marco said, and I've been saying this forever. If you don't need it, don't import it.
Now, if I go back here, if I click on view metrics again, now we refresh the view because of course, and I sort this by columns again, and now what is the second problem? The order number.
The order number.
Because every order has 2, 3, 4 rows, and the order number is again. Maybe you want to see the order number.
Maybe. What if I do want to see it?
No problem. You keep it.
Yep.
But you're paying 32% of the size of the entire database for just one column. So I ask you again, do you really want this number?
Maybe I don't.
No. Okay. You know? So
maybe I don't.
It's your money, right? If it's your money, you say, well. So now we remove the order number here and the order line number. And let me just remove this one. And here we go. If I now go back to DAX Studio and I refresh view metrics again, here we go. Now you see that if you remember, we started from 350 megabytes.
Right.
We removed already 200 megabytes. Good job, right?
Yeah, very good job.
Now let's see what happens next. Because if you follow the suggestions that Patrick said in other videos, you should be already here, right?
Yeah, you should be here.
Now we can still do something. Because now look at the columns that column that is more expensive is line amount. Line amount is 11% of the entire model. We already made a good optimization, by the way. But it is still now 10% of this size is just one column. Wow. Let's take a look. This column is line amount. Line amount is a calculated column that is computing quantity by net price, row by row.
Row by row.
Why?
So this is abusing my memory. This is.
I mean, you want to do this calculation, right? You want to do this calculation, but why?
Do I necessarily need it here?
Let's see.
Okay.
The reason why you have this is because maybe that you moved the column line amount in the report, or maybe you just created, like I did here, a sales amount measure that is just the sum of a column.
Oh.
An implicit measure is always the sum of a column.
Sure.
And a measure does the same.
Yep.
But the measure, if I write the measure, I have a better way to do this. I can simply write sum x.
Oh, you can use an iterator.
Sales, where I multiply the quantity by the net price, which is the formula I had in line amount. Now I'm moving this logic in a measure.
Okay.
And the advantage of this is that now I no longer need the line amount column.
Oh, I can get rid of it. I can completely get rid of it.
Yeah, because I can compute this on the fly. Yep. And by the way, I can do the same for the second column that is the more expensive one. Let me just check this. Which is actually is not the second one, but is very close. Line cost here has the same structure. Is used for the total cost measure. So I remove this again. So I go here and I change the total cost. Now changing the measure is just a step required before removing the column, because if I remove the column, I invalidate it. I break the report. I don't want to break it.
Yep.
Sum x sales quantity multiplied by by cost, unit cost, this one. And I remove this. Now, as you see, I made these changes and my report continued to work.
Yes.
Now I go back here in my table and I remove this.
So you're removing the calculated columns, replacing them with measures.
Before I replace, I use the measures in the report first. Rule number one: use measures, not implicit. Don't just move the columns in the report. Use measures so you can control what you're doing. Second, I make sure that the measures depend on columns that now I'm not gonna remove, and then I remove. In this case, these were calculated columns. But if I had this calculation in Power Query, which could have been a good idea. However, I can remove them from the Power Query transformation because I don't need them. So I remove this column, and now I go back to DAX Studio and I refresh again. Now, at this point, we moved, if you remember, it was around 140 megabytes, and now we are at 16 megabytes. We saved the other 20 megabytes, which is not much if you, but we started with 300. Yes, but after the first optimization,
Yes.
we still removed that 20%, 30% of the data.
Yep.
Now, at this point, I could say, okay, you know what? At a certain point, you reach a point where you say, I need these columns.
Yep.
I don't want to remove that, but that's fine. Now I save the file that I have here, and I go back to the Explorer.
The file explorer.
Yeah, I just have to wait
for it to finish. Yeah.
because it has to compression.
Yep.
And if you remember, we had 250 megabytes. Now we have only 50 megabytes. And we just in maybe 10 minutes explaining everything, we made a wonderful optimization. We removed 80% of the initial size of the model.
Wow. So we got rid of columns we didn't need.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can use other ways to do some
Especially
calculations.
those columns that have a lot of unique values.
Yes. High cardinality.
Correct.
Right? They have high cardinality. And then we found replacements because we probably shouldn't be using calculated columns because we can use SumX or...
But the same would have been true if I imported those columns. So
Sure.
the problem is not that the calculated column by itself.
Yes.
The problem is that if I have to compute the sales amount, and the sales amount can be computed by summing one column
Yes.
or by summing the result of the product between two columns, I try to store in the model those columns that have the smaller cardinality.
Yes.
Because this is what enables me to get a better compression.
Got it. Bam. So what do you guys think, right? This is amazing. Now we have a practical use of the VertiPaq Analyzer. We know how to use it. Go out, optimize your models. If you have any questions, comments for myself or Marco, you know what to do. Post them in the comments below. If it's your first time visiting the Guy in the Cube channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like my video, give a big thumbs up. As always, from Patrick,
Marco,
thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
of